Thank you, CEV, for this opportunity to speak about children's volleyball and especially about the skills in children's volleyball. And it was a great pleasure to participate last week on Jem Kessel's webinar, and it made up lots of good ideas, but also I found lots of similarities with this session compared to John's session last week. Something about me: I'm a Master of Sports Science engineer and also teacher, and I've been working with Finnish Volleyball Association last like 15 years somehow, but now I started as a lecturer in Lapland University of Applied Science, actually last week's Monday. I have published this article in this journal about the physiology, and I've been developing new rules for children's volleyball in Finland, especially about the serving and reception, and also I have made guidelines for the teachers who are teaching children in schools and how they can teach good volleyball sessions in their schools. Something where I am, it was really nice to see that there are participants from all over the world, and I'm now located in northern Finland, in Rovaniemi, where Santa Claus is living. So there are now new place where I moved to like 2 weeks ago. Okay, here is what I'm going to speak about to you. First of all, I'm speaking that what is wrong, or what we have to repair in children's volleyball coaching. Why we are still thinking that children should learn only these basic skills like overhead set and passing and so on. Then a little bit theory about why children can learn lots of difficult skills too. Then we are speaking about what kind of benefits are reached when we are teaching various and difficult skills. Then short introduction, what we might do very well in Finnish volleyball, and after that we go to part 5, that some very basic practical tips to coach children. And then I'm happy to try to answer your questions after that. Okay, so first of all, we all know that volleyball is a tricky and complex sport with strong demand of different kind of fine motor skills. It always takes a lot of time when coaching children that they can play like normal volleyball easily, where balls are a little bit longer, and so that in the beginning it's very difficult for children. If you go to junior tournaments, you can see that those teams who are controlling the ball by passing and setting very well, there are more matches than those teams who can handle passing and setting very well. If some team has a very strong spiker, he can't decide who is winning the match, but this ball control is deciding who is winning the matches. So these are the reasons, and these reasons results to this kind of happenings in coaching. I can see that the coaches are very often focused only to teach passing, setting, and float server because they want to win more matches. And second is that in tournaments you can easily hear lots of coaches speaking that don't do mistakes, don't do something you can't do very easily. Rely on only basic skills. And these are very, very common from coaches. I suggest this kind of solution to all the coaches coaching under 12-year-old players. Let's teach jump serve, jump float serve, blocking technique, spiking, 3-meter spiking before growth spurt. I don't know if you all know the theory about the growth spurt, but it means like under 12 years old, under 30 years old players. Let's teach difficult skills too. It doesn't matter if they can't use those skills in matches, but you can play a lot and learn these kind of skills in trainings a lot. It's like saving money to bank, like we say, because it's much easier later on to learn these skills better if you have idea when those players are younger. Another solution it is, or maybe reason why this is reasonable, is that it is always easier to teach new technique compared to change something what they are doing wrong. And in addition, it's always and also very fun to children to learn difficult skills too. And let's think that if you are learning, or children are learning difficult skills with high ball speed, then it's much easier to learn how to do passing and setting too when the ball is not moving so fast. Okay, so as you see from this video, the level of teams is not so high, but you can easily teach difficult skills to young players too. This girl has used spiking technique from age of 7 years old, and in one trainings I say to her that just try jump serve, and she asked it that what's the technique to do jump serve. I said that just do it. I will see what you are doing well with it, and let's speak after that. And she tried, and the only thing I had to fix from that was that when she's trying throwing this ball, so that she's throwing the ball when she has when she puts right foot to floor. So that was only what had to fix, and then this is result after 1 month after first jump serve. Like starting from here, that throwing when right foot is on the floor. As you can see, there are a lot of things to fix still, but she's only 11 years old. CEV is recording this webinar, and Francois said that on the recording these videos, you can see more easily if you have now problems with internet connection. Okay, and there is other example about the blocking technique. When learning blocking technique with youngsters, you have to remember that please lower the net so they have a possibility to push hands over the net. And this is 12 years old learning blocking technique. I don't remember, maybe first time.
Nyt. Nyt. Nyt.
As you can see, these videos are not something, these are very basic videos, but only to show you example that yes, you can teach difficult techniques to youngsters too. Okay, so other thing is that what is wrong with physical performance trainings with youngsters? First of all, I can see lots of trainings where always volleyball is included in all trainings. It's good to train a technique, but if you want to train speed and so on, you can't have a ball in every training. I can see also lots of trainings where youngsters are very, very tired. Lactate level is rising. And also we hear a lot of speaking that no, it's not possible to teach weightlifting techniques because growth spurt is coming. It's resulting to that, like I said, that it's impossible to train speed if you have ball with you. Speed training needs this 100% attack when you want to train your speed. Other thing is that lactate is not good for the youngsters, and it's harmful to youngsters to have high lactate levels. It's not good, and when you try to learn different kind of fine motor skills, you can't learn good skills when you are tired. And yes, heavyweights are harmful for children, but in volleyball you are landing from after jumping, you are landing on the floor, and if you have no capacity to resist this landing, it's also very big risk for having injuries. So, solution. We are always encouraging coaches that please give those children possibility to do different kind of sports too. Sometimes in volleyball trainings, but also giving possibility to do different kind of sports like track and field and skiing and football, and also maybe wrestling and so on. It's also good to children's mentality to do sometimes individual sports and sometimes team sports. It's lots of good mental experience. And other point is that let's focus to skills what are possible to develop before growth spurt. Speed, coordination, flexibility, aerobic capacity, and so on. not for the maximal power or anaerobic capacity. They are not possible to build up before growth spurt. And let's teach weightlifting techniques with very light weights. It's a good flexibility training and good coordination training, and it's all, again, this is like saving money to bank. There's this same girl who was doing this blocking exercise, and she's now here learning weightlifting technique, and this is what she learned in first 10 minutes of her life in weightlifting training.
Yes.
So if I go to screen by screen, this is a little bit difficult to do with this video, but you can have an idea. This is not a perfect technique, of course, after 10 minutes, not a perfect technique, but as you can see, it's a very safe technique already after 10 minutes. And the reason for this is that how it's possible is that she didn't have any wrong technique. I didn't need to coach wrong technique away before building up a new technique. It's so much faster to teach new technique. Okay, I don't want to speak so much about the science. I want to speak about the volleyball to my volleyball friends over the world. But this is theory behind this idea. I have fixed this photo from Antti Mero et al. Photo, and here you can see that growth spurt it's dependent on the biological age and gender, but normally it's between 12 and 16 years old. Girls have it a little bit earlier than boys. Here you can see that this autonomic nervous system controlling coordination and speed and so on, it's rising very high already in the early ages of your life. And when you are 10, 12 years old, it's almost like 100% of adults' nervous system. So it means that you can train lots of speed, flexibility, coordination, and especially with speed, this frequency system, you can learn a lot. In speed system, speed is developed after growth spurt, lots of by lengthening steps, but before growth spurt, it's speed is developing by frequency level rising. After growth spurt, you have these muscles and bones and hormonal curve, they are rising up, and after growth spurt, you have a possibility to teach weightlifting with more weights and so on, and also anaerobic capacity. But before growth spurt, you can learn weightlifting technique. Other thing is that why we should teach difficult skills is that children really want to learn everything new. It's fun, and they are very keen to learn difficult skills too. Point 1 and point 3 I have talk already a lot. Okay, so what kind of benefits is reached when teaching various skills to children? In volleyball trainings, if you coach different playing roles, like I challenge you to teach spiking and spiking also to setters, and if you are spiker or libero, maybe you play some tournament as a setter and so on. If you mix up those playing roles, you can understand how my partner in this team is playing. For example, if your setter is playing as a spiker in some matches, after that this setter can understand what kind of setting spikers really like. If you are only with one role, it's difficult to understand what kind of key points are in the different roles. And in addition, you never know for sure what kind of role is best for these players when they are older. Maybe somebody is playing as a setter when he is younger, but maybe libero is better role to do well in adults games. Also, when you are learning various skills, these various skills trainings prevents injuries because one muscle group is not overloaded. You have to use your whole body when you are training different kind of skills. And I have said already twice about that it's like saving money to bank. It means that it enables much more difficult exercises right after growth spurt when you have learned these kind of things when they are younger. For example, if you have taught weightlifting techniques before growth spurt, then right after growth spurt you can load more weights to trainings in gym. But if you haven't done that, after growth spurt you have to teach these techniques, weightlifting techniques with through 2 to 3, 4 kilos bar before going more weights. Also, when teaching difficult skills to children, it needs lots of concentration from players. After learning difficult skills, then also easier trainings are going better. Mind is focused more to easier trainings also. Number 5, I said variation is motivation. I think we have lots of good examples that it helps to prevent from dropout from volleyball or from sport generation. But please pay attention when you are coaching difficult skills. Please focus to positive sides. Don't say that now you have only 1 of 10 tries that were very, very good. Please focus on those positive sides. And also, when thinking about mental coaching, when they are learning similar skills than national team players, their perceived competence is higher and they are more self-motivated after that. Okay, there is a one photo about a very young player. I think he was maybe 7 years old or 6 years old when this photo was taken, and from one photo you can see good attitude, joy, and also you have to remember like official playing uniform is very important to youngsters. Okay, next we are going to, I give you a short introduction what kind of good happenings and good points we are in Finnish volleyball. One very popular coaching clinic is our technique school. We have built up this kind of technique guidelines to book and video materials, and to show what is like key points of every technique. I know that most of you are working in the sport clubs, not in the federation, but also I think if you are working with the sport clubs, you have to have some kind of idea of what is common to every technique to teach children. This technique school we have, it helps new coaches to enter our sport. It helps new coaches to teach modern techniques, what are the key points, what are the most important things to teach this kind of tricky techniques. In addition, it helps this kind of area selection teams and junior national teams to play together. And also it helps to train them. They can focus more easily to tactical training and so on when these techniques are a little similar, that you have like similar steps when they are blocking, that they are not blocking each other's on blocking. But you have to remember this third point, that you have to remember that we teach only these key points and most important points for every technique. It doesn't prevent to do variation, individual variation to techniques when they are going further from basic skills. Other one in Finnish Volleyball Federation is that we have this very big volleyball festival, Power Cup. Two photos from different Power Cups. It's every June, but like you all can understand, this June it wasn't organized, so I hope everything is going well with next June. But there are like 8,000 players, 900 or more teams, and over 300 courts. All the matches are played normally in outside courts. There is a 4 days volleyball festival, which includes concert and discos and other activities. And why I wanted to show this to you, it's this third point, it helps to prevent dropout from our volleyball. I strongly encourage you all to organize something other than volleyball to your teams and your clubs. You can't even imagine how important things that those are to youngsters and children to have something else also, not only volleyball play. And it's very good marketing event about the volleyball and children's volleyball. It's very good with sponsors to this kind of big volleyball festival. Okay, and then we have this school volleyball campaign. We had more than 600 schools signed for this campaign last autumn, and every school gets a new volleyball, this Mikasa SKV5 volleyball, and we are doing internet materials for teachers to plan good volleyball sessions in schools. And like Mr. Kessel said last week's webinar, that you have to have this wow factor, we call it wow factor, that when you are showing volleyball to schools, please include always spiking over the net. You can lower the net level very low, but please always include spiking. From the teachers or coaches, maybe coaches raising ball and they are smashing it over the net from the hand. Okay, about 7 years ago, I showed volleyball matches to one football association man in Power Cup. And before that, our children played like normal volleyball, that always serving team is that team who won the last point. And as you can all understand, serving is is very powerful compared to reception in youngsters volleyball or children volleyball. Then I was thinking that we had to fix this because it's boring to watch somebody is serving like 10 times or 15 times. It's not good volleyball. So I focused on tennis tiebreak serving system, that when set is first serve of the set, team A is serving first serve, then team B is serving second and third serve, and then team A is serving fourth and fifth serve, and so on. So serving is not dependent on what happened in last rally. So maybe you all can see this video, but there is an idea that about this service rule, but there is also example about how you can teach backline setter in 4 against 4 matches, that no need 6 against 6 matches to teach this kind of skills. Here you can see that backline setter is here. There are 3 reception players, and when service coming, she run to 2 setting. Okay, and now you can see the example about this serving rule, that this team with blue shirts, they won last rally, but now this team with red shirts, they are serving this rally nevertheless. And you can see backline setter is now coming to make a defense on backcourt. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't go always like planned in this children's volleyball, but you can, after all, you can teach how to use backline setters and so on. And this tennis tiebreak service system, it means that when you have uneven teams, one other team is better than other team, then it's always like better team is serving, and lower level team is only reception attack. But in this system, both teams can train attack, reception attack, same amount in matches. Before it was like sets for like 25-3 and 25-5. Now it's 25-18, 25-21. So all the sets are also more even with this system. Okay, there's one slide about the Finnish volleyball, and maybe you can use Google Translator what means urheilua ja elämyksiä when you are looking this presentation afterwards. Our key points, our means Finnish Volleyball Association workers who are giving coaches clinics, and our key points to juniors coaches are: please learn from children. Don't think that you are only teaching and they are learning. Learn from children, because you are surprised how much they know about different kind of things. Speak with them not only about the volleyball, speak with them how school is going, what did you do on weekend, what kind of music you like, and so on. Be interested. Give them possibility to play with maximal effort, but don't focus on results. Say always to children that you have to have a maximal try, you have to try with your maximal effort and so on, but after match, was it on trainings or tournaments, after matches, don't focus on how someone was or how bad someone was. Keep balls flying on trainings. If you are training lots of trainings with children that there are 12 players and only one ball flying, it's too less. You have to have lots of balls flying. One good idea to have lots of balls flying is like you are put them playing 2 against 2 matches and so on. When you have this 2 against 2 or 3 against 3 or 4 against 4 matches, it's very good to variate courts. Like sometimes it's long court and very narrow court, sometimes very short and very wide court, for example. When you are going to trainings and you are speaking about what you are going to train, please motivate by saying why this training is important, why this setting training is important to our team, that we all have a good overhead setting, for example. And please remember that it's impossible to think that somebody is very talented and somebody is not. Talented, from my point of view, talented player is that player who have a lot of energy and motivation to train after 15 years. You can't say from 10 years old that she's good in women's competition and she's not good in a women's competition after 10 years. No need to collect best players to same team to play together, because if you put a very skillful player to have a ball exercise with beginner, it is very good training for skillful player. Skillful player with skillful player, they are just doing and not concentrating so much, but when skillful player is going with beginner, skillful player needs to concentrate what kind of ball I need to put that or pass that it's good for this beginner. And maybe you say to skillful player that you can teach some technique to beginner, because if you want to have a very good in some technique, you have to know how to teach that technique to beginners. Okay, last part, some practical, very easy tips to children's coaches. I have used a lot this kind of streaming camera because my background in data volley scouting. I have a normal video camera what makes own IP address, and it's connected by cable to Wi-Fi router, and I have a computer connected to Wi-Fi router by Wi-Fi, and then I just open a VLC player from my computer and add delay. You can decide, is it 8 seconds or 20 seconds. So these children can, when they have done, like for example spiking, after spiking they can go to my computer and see how was it. They get instant feedback of every spiking they do. I spoke to you all already about that net low when you are training blocking, but when your children are training spiking, it's good to have high net, that elbow is high. This is good like good lines to remember, that net high when training spiking and net low when training blocking. Last week we all heard that there needs to be lots of playing in trainings, but please remember we need lots of touches. So if you are starting every rally with serve, then there are no coming enough touches. When playing in trainings, use a lot of this kind of coaches free balls, that immediately when the ball is on the floor, you throw the next one, so you can have a good intensity in trainings. Or you can focus on like net playing, that that if you start every rally with serve and reception, then there is not coming enough attacks and blocking. But if you start this free ball to spiker, then there is a spiking and blocking, starting with spiking and blocking, and after that rally is going on after defense and so on, or after cover. Please don't rush, don't be in a hurry. Sometimes learning takes time. It's very documented that sometimes slow learners, they learn that skill more carefully than fast learners. That I mean that I'm sure that you have all had this kind of children who they have a very difficult to learn some skill when they are 11 years old. Maybe some player from the same team learns that skill in 1 month very well, but some other player maybe learns, it takes time like 6 months or 8 months or even longer. It doesn't mean that this slow learner is not talented. It might mean that she or he is learning this skill more carefully than this fast learner. Okay, 50 minutes, so we have a time for questions.
Thank you, Teemu. Very, very interesting, actually, and I hope that everyone is happy with the fact that you shared your knowledge, experience. And I saw in the chat box that some participants have questions, and I will ask Nicolas Latef, because I saw that he sent a question to you, and maybe he can ask you the question directly. Nicolas, if you hear me, you can unmute your microphone and ask your question directly to Teemu.
Yes, sure.
Let's give him 5 seconds to see if he managed to unmute the microphone. Nicolas Latef.
Well, the thing is, Teemu, thank you for taking the time, but you answered my question about 2 or 3 minutes after I asked it, so that's fine.
Is it this question that about this before they reach their peak high velocity?
Yes, before they reach peak high velocity, because I have read, because I'm a sports coaching student at the moment, and I've read some research that suggests that you can basically teach all the techniques just without a lot of weight or without any weight, to be exact, whilst like they're in peak high velocity or even before that. But the moment they reach that growth spurt, you basically stop all of the weight training and you focus on body weight exercises, like dips, like push-ups, like sprints, and so on.
Yeah, one thing I need to say about this is that first of all, if you try to teach weightlifting techniques without any weight, like a wooden stick, it's very difficult to learn good techniques if there is no weight at all. So that's the reason I have always said that please use like 2 kilos or 3 kilos barrel, because it's much easier to teach with 2 kilos than no weight at all. And if you are thinking carefully, like I showed this weightlifting techniques, this children, they have own weight also. If this children has own weight of 50 kilos or 45 kilos, and you add 2 kilos to 45 kilos, it's only like 4% of her body weight. So it's not harmful if it's because you have to lift your own body weight too. So it's not harmful to use 2 kilos to 3 kilos barrels.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
He or she's asking, will I change the training base on the 8, or all the age ranging from 8 to 12 will be the same?
That's a good question, because if you think about like 12 years old girls, maybe some of them are already in growth spurt, and maybe some of them are not even close to growth spurt. So of course it's very challenging to have a 175 and 145 height players in trainings, but in these cases I always encourage to divide to small groups to have a similar height players in the one group, and you can always put your net like to angle that on the other part head net is higher than on the other end net is much lower. So I think you don't have to have a net very even in all your trainings. You can have angle on your net.
Okay, thanks, Teemu. Another question from Jérôme Dumas. He wants to know if you can tell him and tell our participants how to develop the ice vision for the young players to have a better, let's call this ball direction reading. So basically, how to develop the ice vision of the young players.
You mean eye vision?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. I think this kind of sensomotor skills, I encourage to maybe have. I had a video about bowling where you have two players doing ball exercise with one ball, and you have other ball to throw ball to air before doing passing or setting, and then take this other ball. So you have to think about different kind of things. For example, with children, of course, you all know that there are lots of different kind of things that when you are doing blocking exercise, you need to focus on setter, but you maybe just before ball is on the setter, coach is showing some other direction, you have to go there, and so on. That you have to try to implement those trainings, that you have to focus on. You have to see not only ball, but you have to see something else from different angle, that you have to react different information.
Thank you, Teemu. Another question from Hiro de la Peña is asking, he's explaining that he has a problem with his setter, and he is explaining that the 13 years old girl is having a problem with the exit of the ball from her hands after penetrating from zones 4 and 5. And to describe best, he says that she's like throwing the ball up in the air without correct movement. And do you have some suggestions or some drills or activities to correct this movement?
Yeah, of course, it's a little bit difficult to think about what is the problem without the video. But I think if it's if I understand correctly, maybe it's, when he's speaking about throwing the ball, maybe it's this touch is too fast. So if touch on setting, finger setting is too fast, maybe you train with little bit heavier ball. That volleyball is very light and it's very easy to throw the ball, but maybe you there are like setter balls in shops too, but sometimes setter balls are too heavy, but like little bit heavier ball than volleyball, and you have this little bit heavier ball, it automatically puts touching a little bit longer. Yeah, hello Steve. What age range do you begin to allow young players to choose to specialize in a position on court in Finland? Yes, that's a very good question, and I think lots of club coaches they have too hurried to concentrate that too hurried to choose what kind of what position every player is playing next 15 years, but I think not before 15 years old, not I hope not before 16 years old, and we have examples that we have like junior national team players who started in junior national team as a setter, and after 2-3 years when they turned 20 or 21 they changed their position to libero. So I think you have to teach different playing roles very early, but focus only to one role very late.
Okay, thank you, Teemu. It's now 3 o'clock, and I think we already answered several questions, and I would like to invite our participants, if they have more questions, they have your email address, and they can always contact you and to get in touch with you to ask you more questions. And thank you to everyone for your participation in this session. Again, it was a very interesting topic, and there are so many things that all of you can implement in your classes and trainings. Never forget that our final goal in the end is to grow the game, to teach and educate the kids, and to make them happy by playing volleyball. The next session will be next Thursday, same time, and it will be with Remco Kenter from the Netherlands as a lecturer. As usual, you will receive the invitation email the day before, it means Wednesday, on your email addresses. And last but not least, I would like to remind you to check 2 important places. First one is our video library on the CEV website. I will put the link again in the chat box. And the second one, I invite you to visit also our Facebook page. It's called European Volleyball, and there you can like the page and follow all our activities. With this being said, I would like once again to thank you all, and see you next